In this video we're going to tie a fly called the Montana Nymph. First thing we're going to do is start off with a Tiemco 5262 hook and some 020 lead wire. We're going to leave just a little bit of room right up by the eye, and we'll wrap through that wire a few times, just securing it, making sure it won't slide around or go anywhere. We're going to take a black hackle feather and we're just going to trim off some of the hackle fibers for a tail. We want these hackle fibers to be as even as we can get them. So I just kind of roughly even them up in my fingers and get them somewhat close to even. I want that tail to be about half of the length of the shank of the hook. We're going to tie it in right behind the wire. And we can trim those fibers just behind the wire. And next thing we're going to do is we're going to take some fine black chenille. And we're going to tie that in just behind the wire. Then we can take that chenille and just wrap a nice tapered body with it. I'm going to stop just at about the halfway point. Just maybe a little after the halfway point. Then we're going to take some medium black chenille, little thicker. We're going to tie that in right on top of the shank here, all the way back to where we stopped tying in the body. Now we're ready for the legs, and I just measure out my feather so it reaches past the point of the hook. And I'm going to tie that in right up on the thorax. Then we're going to take some fine yellow chenille. And we're going to tie that in as the thorax material. And I'm going to take my thread all the way to the front of the hook here. Then I'm going to take that yellow chenille and just build up a small little thorax with it. Then we can take our black hackle feather. We're just going to wrap through that thorax 3 times. That third one is always the toughest one. Then we can capture the hackle feather and tie it off. You want to trim out any trapped fibers. There's always a few. Then we're going to take that medium black chenille, kind of stroke all the legs of the hackle back out of the way, pull it right over the top of the fly, and bite down with a couple nice tight wraps, and a couple underneath, and you can trim out that black chenille. At this point you can whip finish, and you can leave the fly just like that, or you can tie in just a little bit of red thread to finish off the head. I like to add just a little bit of red on this fly. Don't ask me why the fish like it, but just that little hint of black thread or red thread really gives the fly that added fishability. Red always seems to be a natural attractant for fish. And you can trim out your red thread. And that is a finished Montana Nymph. Great little stonefly or attractor fly. Also a really good bluegill fly as well as the Montana Nymph.